It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Good afternoon, Detroit. We are here at the Ermanni and Edwards show, and well, for now, it's the Anson show.
Oh.
We got my man Pyro Pete to my right.
Yes, sir.
KG in the sound booth. And my favorite Spartan, my man Joel, is here. How you doing, Joel? So, we have some exciting Detroit Lions clips and news. We've got joint practice with the New York Giants. And if you guys have been paying attention to your social media at all, it was bedlam. There was 8 skirmishes. Started off with a strip off of Amon-Ra St. Brown after a catch. A little shoving match ensued. And I know we've got quite a few of these clips to provide for you guys today. Got wild out there. Definitely Terrion Arnold looks like he's got a concussion from one of those hits.
Yeah.
Pete, you got anything for us to share? We'll just get right into this thing.
Well, we definitely have the hit on the Terrion Arnold hit today, which did not look pretty good. Here it is from practice, guys. This just did.
He took a
and
licking.
You heard it. Let's replay that again, guys. You can hear the hit.
Yeah.
This is football. You guys know that we need the secondary to be in shape. Ooh.
Took a licking from the left tackle.
So, guys, what do you think about that, Anson?
So, KG, I want to ask you: Is this something that Daboll and Campbell, after day one, they're like, all right, gentlemen, we need to calm it down here.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a healthy team to week one.
Right. It's definitely going to be a level of that because, I mean, these guys are competing out there, and you knew there were going to be fights, but 8 skirmishes, I mean, that's like every other play, every 2 plays, it got really heated out there. So I would expect that, they have to cool it because both teams want to come into the season healthy. But I like the fire, man. I like the fire out of the team. Do not back down in any situation. Go out there and try to be the best man. That's what they did.
Yeah, and we've been hearing some things out of Lions training camp that we've never really heard before. These guys are playing and practicing on a completely different level. So I guess, Joel, I want to know from you, what is it that you're looking for when you're reading and you're catching these clips on your social media of these training camp practices, these joint practices? What are you looking for that you're hoping to see out of this young team most?
What I'm hoping to see out of the young team is, I guess, what we are seeing, just the fight. Because it's like fighting shows that you retaliating. Like, you're not going to go for anything. You're just going to stand up for yourself. And it's just like, I was really just reading one of the incidents. It came from after one of the plays, the dude tried to hit the ball out of Amon-Ra's hand, and he just shoved him back. So it just started a fight. So it's just like, it's just showing our team is just gritty. So I just hope that it really doesn't matter now because there's no flags and stuff like that, no penalties and no – I mean, they probably will get fines from this. I'm not too sure. But I hope that they know to calm this down in the regular season. That's more so what I hope to see. But I like to see the feistiness. I like to see them competing at that high level already, even like, what's this, August?
Yeah. And it's such a tight-knit team at this point from everything, all accounts that we're hearing. With these guys, if you step on one guy's toe, you're going to see the rest of the squad. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Penei Sewell, but he looked like Thanos out there.
Yeah,
with somebody around his head and then Spider-Man on one arm and Thor on the other arm.
Crazy.
But that's not somebody you want to mess with. But even when you mess with Penei, you're going to get the wrath of the rest of the Lions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that I'm really excited about, I'm curious about this team, was our biggest weakness last year, and that was our secondary.
Yeah.
We obviously took we went to many lengths to be able to shore that up, signing Amik, signing Carlton Davis in the offseason, and obviously going in deep during the draft to be able to shore that up. Now, I got a guy that I thought was the best wide receiver in the draft, and that was not Marvin Harrison Jr., a guy by the name of Malik Neighbors.
Yeah. Who?
So I've been hearing that all day long. The Detroit Lions wide receivers were cooking, the Giants D-backs. But we got to play here where Malik Neighbors
We was getting cooked
really
back.
shows his skill, his speed, and separation.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, this was on Iffy Melifonwu, I believe.
Oh, the music, my bad.
We all know Iffy playing safety. Ooh, got killed on that one, man.
Yeah, let's do that again. There you
The
go.
ref called it incomplete though.
Yeah, but it was still no. He says it's incomplete, but it wasn't. Check this
Yeah,
out.
looked like
Look
he
at
caught it
Neighbors
in
go up
bounds.
here, dude. Poor Iffy.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Yep.
And you're not going to make every play, but
No, you're not going to make every play. And I'm telling you, this Malik Neighbors kid is Tyreek Hill 2.0.
yeah.
You know,
The Giants need it.
Yeah, they need
ain't had
somebody-
receivers since
they
ever.
need somebody for Danny Dimes to get the ball to.
Right.
They don't have Saquon to catch the ball anymore.
Yeah.
And they don't really have anybody else.
And they lost Darren Waller.
Yeah, they don't have anybody else.
That's a huge
of
loss.
Is it?
For Danny Dimes?
I mean, he wasn't.
And for Danny Dimes' skill set,
well, true, yeah.
that's a big loss for him.
Damn, who is even gonna be their backup tight end, or who is they now tight end?
Well, they got Theo in the draft.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
then they also have Daniel Bellinger, who I am a big fan of, who's been a little bit injured.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens with that whole situation. But I got to say, after watching Hard Knocks,
Yes.
I'm a Giant. I am frustrated.
I'm sick.
That's
Yes.
about the only
Poor Joe
thing that this
Shane.
team is going to win this year is some skirmishes in practice.
yeah.
So
No, the best thing to happen to the Giants this year is the Hard Knocks. That's going to be the best thing because they're
No
going to
doubt.
finish at the bottom of that division, my
yeah,
friend.
I think they're at the bottom of that division as well. But Malik Neighbors, I saw a couple other clips. That guy's exciting,
Yeah.
and he's going to be a tough stop for any secondary in the NFL at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did kind of just skip past the pleasantries.
Well,
What'd you guys do this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
How about you, KG?
Nothing much. My wife is sick right now. She caught COVID for the second time. So
Prayers up.
yeah, she's on the mend now though, thankfully. And then this weekend, nothing. Just SummerSlam on Saturday. That was pretty eventful, man. Got to see the return of Roman Reigns, the OTC original Tribal Chief. And then Sunday, I watched the Terrence Crawford fight. I fell asleep on it. I gotta watch the rest of it, but just lay back.
Okay, so I got a question.
Yeah.
When your wife is sick, how much does that transform your duties?
Oh, by tenfold. I'm responsible for a lot more than I normally am. Normally, you know, she's responsible for the food and, you know, making sure the house is good. Had to step in that role, you know, which ain't the biggest deal. You know, I help my baby out when I can, but
What's the worst extra duty you have to take on while she's sick?
dishes, man. I can't stand
Dishes?
dishes. I hate them.
I hate dishes too.
I can't stand them.
I like windows. I like vacuuming. I love folding towels.
Yeah, I can do folding all day.
No
I would
thanks.
much rather clean a garage than wash dishes. That's how much I hate it.
I like cleaning garage, especially cleaning your
Yeah.
buddy's garage when you
No.
don't care about anything. I love that.
Hell yeah.
I love that. What about you? I'll come to you, KG. What'd you do this weekend? Excuse me, Joel. My bad.
I know we look the same. No,
Oh,
sorry.
man.
I wasn't going
Go
there. I wasn't going there. By Spartan Joel,
But
what
no,
did
it
you do
was
this
just,
weekend?
I just chilled, just cut the grass with my granddad one day.
And you found that shirt.
Oh yeah, found this shirt. Oh, that wasn't the weekend. That was like Thursday or something. But you know, I usually just be chilling on the weekends. I ended up buying a PS5.
Oh yeah,
So
you
what you-
bought one?
Yeah.
What'd you get with it?
College football.
Yeah, you
I,
know
I could have answered that.
Yeah, come
Did
Did you
on
get
now.
anything else?
No, not yet. I'm trying to figure out what else I want to buy.
You want to throw your gamer tag out for everybody?
I can't.
No. I heard it earlier.
I was about to say, I know why.
Yeah,
but-
that's why I can't. Yeah.
Can I give
can
him
put
half
in the
of
chat.
it?
I'll put it in the chat.
Can I give it half?
You could get the first half.
I wanted to give the second half. we'll leave it up to the chat. You guys can figure
I
it
was
out
about
in
to
the
say,
chat.
I was about to say, I'll type it in the chat.
Right.
They'll see
There
it
we
there.
go.
Those smart Fox 2 viewers ain't
And
gonna
for everybody
know what
in
we
the
talk
chat,
about.
if you could throw us some likes, we would love you for it. And I'm going to go over to Pistol/Pyro
Oh,
Pete
he,
over
he's
here.
the one that had a time over
Yeah,
there.
no.
what did you do
Oh,
this
dude,
weekend? I know
baby.
you got into some Atari somewhere.
No, actually, nah. This is go back to the '80s weekend. I was up north in the Great Northwest, shooting some guns, doing some snorkeling, diving the Jesus statue in Little Traverse Bay, running around Petoskey, causing trouble, but shooting the guns is the best part.
You were in
baby.
Petoskey?
Oh yeah, baby.
I was in Charlevoix.
Well, I know you guys were over there for the great Sam's Stick Day's wedding over there in Traverse City. Congratulations to our boss.
Yeah,
Sam.
how was that?
I gotta say, now I knew up front, if you know Stick, you know that he is one of the greatest energy people. He does anything he can to see people win, which he truly loves to see people win. So I already knew. I've known this guy for over 20 years from the club scene, from sports scene, from so many different scenes. So I knew there was just going to be legends all over the place. Carpet Guys owner Joey Z was in the house.
Nice.
Braylon was noticeably absent. He's probably swinging a club somewhere, but
Of course.
man, the heavyweights were there. There was all kinds of people there, but
Good
it was
time.
just such great energy and so much love, and the facility was awesome. It was fire. Shout out to Castle Farms up north in Charlevoix. It was truly one of the best weddings I've ever been to, but I got to shout out to Pigs Eating Ribs. It's a little hole in the wall in the middle of Charlevoix. I remember driving by it, not knowing that's who was catering it.
Yeah.
And when you see those spots in Detroit where it's like, that looks awful, I need to eat there.
Yeah, seriously.
It was unbelievable.
Anson, we were
Unbelievable.
this close to going to Charlevoix on
I
Saturday, so
wish
that
you
would have
had,
been
man.
sweet if we have run into each other.
This, the ribs, it was brisket, excuse me, the chicken, but the mac and cheese was on another level. It
mac
was
and
just like mac and
cheese.
cheese
Love
with
to hear it.
magic.
All right.
Love to hear it.
Cornbread. How many weddings have you been to with cornbread?
I'm black, so it's kind of like
I need some invites. I need some invites
Yeah.
because I'm going to tell you it was fire. Cool. No thank you on the rolls. Give me some cornbread all day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
for
like
sure.
sweet or like?
I like any cornbread, but this was sweet and like super soft,
Oh
little
yeah.
sticky.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one.
Calm down.
All right.
Well, we'll touch on the Lions practice
I was
just a
gonna
little
say.
bit more. We do have some injury concerns.
Yeah.
Obviously, this has been a very physical team during practice.
Yes.
We've seen it when it was just us, but now with the Giants involved too, there's been some injuries. Obviously, the skirmishes as we saw, but it looks like we alluded earlier to the Terry and Arnold concussion, but we also have Zeitler who's going to be evaluated for a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
That would be a major blow to what is widely considered the best offensive line in the NFL right now.
Absolutely.
So we're just hoping that, like Sione Vaki, it's going to be something passing and not long term. Something you worried about, KG?
Absolutely. I mean, the concussion is one thing. Terrion can get over that. It's good that it happened so early before the season. He'll have time to recover. But Kevin Zeitler dealing with a shoulder that's maybe an injury that can nag over the season, and you hope it's nothing to where he'll miss time, initially. But I do worry that it's something he might have to deal with for all 17 games. He's a guy that is pretty reliable when it comes to being on the field and stuff like that. So you definitely don't want to see this right before the season starts.
I feel like this would be a little less impactful if it was Ragnow or somebody that has been here.
Right,
and
right,
there's
right.
already the consistency and the
He'll
just the
play
cohesion
through it.
between that offensive line unit. So losing him for any stretch of time is going to hurt that cohesion. But hopefully this isn't anything serious. But I think we'll find out a little bit later today.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah,
Knock on wood.
this is part of training camp, man.
Yeah.
This happens especially when the two teams combine. People are looking at the fights like, oh my goodness, there's so many fights. Or even last week with, oh my goodness, people are throwing up. They must be out of shape. This is what happens when you work intensively.
Yeah.
And that's what Dan Campbell does. He teaches it. You think Aaron Glenn is going to want his defense, to be out of shape or just, to be, he's going to work these guys to death. So you want to see these altercations during these camps. You don't want to see anybody hurt, but you want to see the fights. You want to see the altercations, and the injuries are just going to happen. It's part of football. And if you're going to have a winning team, you need to be deep. So you're going to have to start thinking about these backups to our starters, because our starters are going to get banged up, and it's already starting here in practice. And it's just going to continue, Anson. You know this.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this Lions team features depth that we haven't seen on a Lions roster in a very, very long time.
Facts.
You remember before this regime came in, we just seemed to always lose guys in the preseason, guys that we could not afford to lose. What I do love about these practices and this offseason is just the physicality that we're hearing. the competition between the offense and the defense and their specific units that are lining up against each other. So again, if you've got a team that's this competitive and this physical, like you said, Pete, you're going to see some of these things in training camp. But I think that the Lions are finally in that position where they have more than just some depth. They have a dearth of depth at most positions at this point. So as long as we don't see anything too terrible, I think that we are in good shape. But, kicking position, that's something we couldn't handle an injury at, which we've already had. I saw you wanted to say something on this one, Joel. What are you worried about?
I was going to say, more so to Pete's point, training intensively, it's like, it's a thing in the NBA where most players will say, like, they want to shoot, like, if they want to shoot, they have to shoot, like, a certain percentage to make it half, and that'll be their game percentage. So if they shoot 80% in practice, their game percentage will be 40%. So it's more so, like, in these practices, you like and seeing them practice so hard because you want to see them giving that super hard effort in practice, because once it gets to the game, like, you have to try to replicate that game speed somehow, some way, because once you get in the game, it's still not like practice, but if you training to, like, just the utmost, like, your highest possibility that you can, especially in these early months, to just get you up into that, get you into the shape and then get you ready and get you, I guess, calloused for the season that's ready to come. And then when the season comes, then you can chill out. It's just better off to get it out the way now so you're more prepared for when the season comes.
Yeah, and it really feels so much different from the reports we were hearing from the Patricia teams and the teams before that, where a lot of it was kind of hands-off. This team is going in, and despite some nicks and bruises that we're seeing, to your point, Joel, I think that these guys, they know this is the window right now.
Yeah.
That this is the season, and they're not pulling any punches during this training camp.
And we have a clip of Dan Campbell pretty much talking about what it takes to do, to be a Detroit Lion. This clip right here is a really good one. No work, no matter. And this is really honestly tells you what kind of a coach we have here in Dan Campbell. You wonder why there's fights at practices, and this is why. Listen to Dan Campbell here.
The most important thing is that they understand what it took to get to where we were at even last year. And just because we got to that point doesn't mean anything. So we start over. Now, we've got the core group. We've gotten a little bit better. Brad's done an unbelievable job adding the talent. But it starts over with the work. And so there is no complacency. There is no entitlement. We go back to work. And that is the focus. Because if you don't work, it doesn't matter. So we put back in the work.
He's going to put the work in, Anson. And this is the Lions, and this is why I want to see fights and all this stuff, because Dan Campbell is ingraining this into these boys' heads that you are going to work. Just because you're on the roster as a big name doesn't mean the job is yours. These guys are busting their humps, and they're showing it. I want to see more fights. This is good stuff. This is good stuff.
Yeah, and when I think back to the Bad Boys teams, Jordan's teams, this is the stuff that happened at that practice. If you're in the bottom half of the league, everybody says, we've heard equanimous, we're all fighting for a Super Bowl, but it's not true.
Right.
There's a handful of teams that really know that they're in it, and I have a feeling that all of their practices are like this. When you're in that bottom half of the league, even the bottom 2/3 of the league, there is some complacency, and there is some chill. There's no chill in Allen Park right now.
Damn right.
And that's not what we're looking for as Lions fans. This is the most anticipated season in Detroit sports history. And I'll be damned if Dan Campbell's going to let these guys limp into it.
I doubt the word complacency doesn't even cross my mind when I think about Detroit Lions, man.
That's right.
There is no way that Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, and this group of players are going to rest on their laurels. They're just not. I know a lot of these people on this team came from like maybe winning situations and stuff of that nature. So they don't hold the same, angst that past teams have had. That SOL thing doesn't bother them. They know what they have in front of them. They know it's not going to be easy. They're going to take it game by game, but there is absolutely no way that this team is going to rest on their laurels. I just don't see it. They know what the mission is. Everybody has said it from Sheila down to the players. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, and you have to do the things necessary in order to get back there. It's going to be a long journey, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, for most of our lives, the Lions were synonymous with complacency.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and this,
Which is why it took you so long to shake that SOL.
well, you know,
board,
I was
man.
just going to go there. I know this might seem like blasphemy, but I got to say, you hit it. None of these players are carrying those 3 letters around with them.
No.
And, you know, I always say, I need to see something that we've never seen before here, and that is a Super Bowl berth. But there's something that I've never been able to deny from last year to this year, and that is the look and feel of a brand new Lions team.
You can tell
What'd you
when it's
say?
authentic.
No, Kenny, what did he say?
He said BNL, I believe.
I did. I said BNL, man.
Did he say BNL?
And you know, but at the same time, as Lions fans, we have to hold ourselves to the same high bar that we're watching these boys hold themselves to right now. So don't crown them after a week 1 win.
Right.
Don't lose your mind after a week 2 loss like we did last year.
They still gonna
It's
do
a
it.
long season, but this team is built for January. This team's built to be playing in February.
Yes, sir.
Good point, Anson.
No doubt.
And that's the thing. So you want to keep seeing the physicality. You want to keep seeing them work hard, and you want to see jobs on the line. And that's what these guys. You got it. You're absolutely right.
Although I didn't like seeing in some of those skirmishes, this guy's getting ripped around and thrown down by their face mask.
Yeah, you're talking
I
about
know
poor
there's no
Sun God, huh?
penalties. There's no penalties thrown during a
Yeah,
skirmish,
you're
but
talking
like
about poor Sun God here. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, you can't be doing that to our boy, dude. You can't be doing that to our boy, man.
You got to expect these things, especially look at where these 2 teams are. You have a team in the Giants, like you said, they aren't about to do anything this year. And you got a team like the Lions that are favored in the NFC in a lot of ways, man, to make it back to the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl.
Trying to get some clout off us.
Pretty much. This is all I got to say about that. But it's just guys out here competing, man. So that's...
now
You got to expect this.
I got a question you guys might know the answer to is, are these practices taking place in Allen Park or are they in New York?
They in New York.
They are, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see the locker room that Lions had?
No.
It was literally just a big old curtain in the middle of the Giants like training facility.
That's crazy.
Like the field part.
That reminds me of the Celtics facility in the 80s. They had a facility that they would send visiting teams to with no AC, just terrible little locker. It was basically like a middle school gym.
Good job, Red.
No.
Red Arbach, man.
My favorite locker room is the Iowa locker room, which is all pink, and then they have the children in the cancer hospital. They paint pictures and put them all over the locker room.
Wow.
That's the visiting locker room for Iowa. So
That's crazy.
It's all pink with the kids' pictures.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I know that we got plenty to talk about today. The Olympics are going.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And world champions of what? We've heard that line a couple of different times in regards to, well, I guess the NBA and world championships that are created and maintained here in the United States. But Noah Lyles did go on to win the 100-yard dash.
He did. Shout out.
USA.
By
sir.
5/1000ths of a second, if I'm correct.
It's a near photo finish. I believe he's running the 200 during this broadcast. Actually.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
Think he's going to take it?
I mean, it's a very good possibility, man. And I know a lot of people, was upset with the guy, but you got to give it up. He's representing the country. I don't want him to fall on his face, unlike some people, i.e. Maz.
People were saying, can he really even consider himself the world champion still? Because since it was so close of a photo finish, they were like, showing like the dude that's literally right behind him. They like he didn't even place for a medal. So like
he won gold, y'all.
Well,
y'all can't take it away.
No,
from
I'm
him.
not taking it away. It's just more so I'm asking y'all a question that I saw on the internet.
Joel?
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby. Did you guys see the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah.
3-horse finish decided by literally the nose of a horse's hair. You win, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to show up. I mean, he put himself
definitely does.
out there.
He put a target on himself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
he did. But he's the guy to back it up.
Yeah.
He's certainly the guy to back it up.
So far, so good.
Anything else going on in the Olympics that's got you guys excited?
Yeah, I like the soccer Final Four is going on right now, so I have a bet going on. I need Morocco to win. So last I checked, it was 1-0 Morocco at halftime. So
now
go
Morocco was leading U.S. 1-0 and then put up 3 goals at the end. Is that?
They whoop poor USA. Yeah,
and of course, I'm waiting on you to give us our basketball update. But shout out to Simone Biles. I don't know if we talked about her a lot last week.
She got a silver today.
She did.
She got a silver, I think, in the floor exercise.
She has 11 total golds now. Correct?
Yes.
That's
She
insane.
is the GOAT of women's gymnastics, period. Point blank.
No doubt. You know, one of the things that I've been hearing, because I remember back in the 90s when we hosted the World Cup, had some games at the Silverdome, and everybody was talking at that point that the next 10, 20 years, you're going to see USA become a powerhouse in soccer. And we have not seen that.
Far from it.
If anything, they've gone the other way.
Exactly.
They've gone backwards. But my thing is this. When you live in Brazil, you grow up in Brazil, you grow up in Amsterdam and the Netherlands.
You have an advantage.
But that's all that you do.
Yeah.
That's the goal. LeBron James would be the greatest goalkeeper in the history of football.
Probably. But
Am I wrong?
That ain't the life he chose,
I
though,
knew
man.
that was coming.
And to your point, you have a plethora of sports, man, and soccer isn't. It's popular over here, but not like over there. Like you said, that's all they have over there is their version of football. So while it's popular over here, you have basketball, you have baseball, you have football. So it's only natural that we don't produce the type of talent that can compete with the Netherlands or Europe or any of these other countries.
Could you imagine Jordan in front of the net off a corner?
Man, what?
Dude,
Header.
I'd love to see Jordan lining up a corner kick and just sending it in there. And
Don't
then,
know
like,
if he's
somebody like
Jordan.
No,
Kareem
I want
with a
him.
header.
I want him bicycle kicking with those ups. Man.
Yeah, right.
I would love to
No,
see
Dr.
that.
J would be the one bicycle kicking. That's
Just
more of a Dr. J.
The
movie.
idea of us only having soccer and putting guys like Tyreek out there on the fly
That'd be nasty.
with LeBron in the goal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
In a parallel universe.
I think Steph Curry would be dropping the corner in, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. No, Seth Curry would be the corner kick. Yeah, you need somebody big in the middle. You know, you need like Kareem Abdul with a little header into the net.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Man, Kareem in the center, nobody's getting to that.
KD playing striker.
Oh, yeah.
That's nasty.
Just flying down the field.
Oh my god.
That's too funny.
You want to do our first break, my
Yeah,
friend?
let's get into a break here, guys. We're winging it here, and we're loving that you're here with us on a Monday. We're gonna get it going. Woodward Sports.
Boys
Let's
and Girls
go.
Club. Who's got that one, Kenny G?
Boys and Girls Club. Well, I'll freestyle it. Boys and Girls.
Yeah, because I have no background for you.
Hey,
Go
it's
ahead.
all good. Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. You can sign up your kid today for $150 per child and have a chance to play for a championship at Ford Field, man. You always want to support the kids. It's such a good cause, man. So BGCSM 3C Sports. Make sure you join today.
Fitness that fits your budget, no matter where you are. There is a Planet Fitness close by. I know it because I passed like 7 on the way in here. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships actually also include a fitness training for no extra cost? That's awesome. Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa, featuring hydro massage chairs, and total body enhancement. And more along with access to 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privilege. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or visit them online at www.planetfitness.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
You dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? I know most of us are. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That is huge. That's right, I said $5,000, $5K. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, Mark White, call him today, 248-290-8242 to make your home owning dreams come true.
And if you got that new house, why not get a new car, man? And you can do that right at Les Stanford because, of course, they've been running a great business for over 50 years and they expanded and offered more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford is all about, adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile Road. Check out Les Stanford and Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive.
Hey.
So, last week, we talked about something straight out of Hollywood from propaganda films. I mean, Netflix. And it came out a little bit early.
Here we go.
It came out a little bit early, and it was called Untold.
Yeah.
Sign Stealer. But yet there's a new chapter unfolding before us, and that would be the Connor Stallions U of M debacle or cover-up, however you want to look at it. I know Michigan fans believe that there's nothing to it. They felt
Not
that
all
way
Michigan
all
fans.
last year, but now it's coming back. KG, catch us up.
All right, so Connor Stallions, they have identified him as a sign stealer. He was confirmed at that CMU game, wearing CMU gear, might I add.
And Ray-Ban video camera glasses with the little thing
this
in the corner.
He ain't the brightest knife in the crayon box, but you know he was confirmed that he was there and stealing signs, and now, of course, on the heels of this big documentary coming out, it's kind of ain't the best look, man. So, and as a Michigan fan, of course, I mean, they took advantage of a loophole. I mean, that is what it is. Don't give me that look. I see you over there trying to give me that look, but it is. I'm not one of those fans that said it wasn't him. I'm not one of those fans that, you know, I just don't like the fact that people act like, you know, this stuff hasn't been going on. Now, of course, Michigan got caught and they need to deal with what comes with that. But this stuff has been happening for years, man. I mean, just look at the SEC. I can run down the list. But
how many times have we seen a controversy like this come back?
Yeah.
So my thing, and I guess it would be my concern for you Michigan fans. It's not a concern for me, but I believe that this team needs to settle, because if they go to trial, Discovery is going to have a lot of things put before the public eye.
Yeah.
I have gone on record many times with the history of this university. It is a university that has used a system of repression throughout the state to hold other schools down. This is documented, okay? Now, you talked about it. We talked about it before this, and you can look at the Alabamas. Honestly, my own school, Michigan State, guys are stealing 40s out of the Dairy Mart past 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And then they went on to win a national championship themselves.
I mean, that was so long ago, but continue.
It was, but I remember. But so with this team and so much on the line with this national championship, I'm sure that your concerns would be shared by other Corn and Blue fans, Wolverines. But at this point right now, is this something that you guys are truly worried about, watching this national championship get taken off the books?
Well, no, because I don't think they can take the Natty off the books. If anything big was going to happen, it would have happened with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. At this point, he's gone to the NFL. He's doing other things. Sharon Moore is the guy in charge now. You had a lot of turnover. I just don't see them being able to do anything drastic, as in take games away or heavy sanctions or strip them of the national championship at this point. But to your point, they should want to settle this. I think for the NCAA, they should want to settle this, because not only will Michigan skeletons come out, a lot of other team skeletons will come out if this were to go to trial. I don't think that's what they want. Let's just cap this, settle, move on. It's a new season, new playoff format, and let's enjoy that.
Do you think the timeliness of Jim Harbaugh's departure has nothing to do with this situation?
I think it has a lot to do with this situation, just being completely honest. But there's also the factor that he had beef with the NCAA, in particular the Big Ten, and the commissioner of the Big Ten as well. So I believe it was that, on top of, yes, he probably saw some of these things coming down the pipe with the NCAA, and he said, okay, well, once we get to the Natty, or if we get to the Natty, I'm out of here. I'm not finna keep dealing with this, which at this point, I don't see why wouldn't you do that? If it was you probably do the same thing, especially if you got beef with the whole conference in the league.
Yeah, well, and if the magnifying glass of NCAA gets put over Ann Arbor, Harbaugh's not under it. He's not. And obviously he's tied to it, and he's got the ring, and he was responsible for that championship. But if they come and really look at this thing, it does go to trial.
Yeah.
Certainly he's going to be involved, but he's going to be somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This thing runs a lot deeper. Pete, what you got?
Well, I was going to say, talking about this, you guys are Tom Pelissaro. He joined Pat McAfee today, and he told him that the past accomplishments for Michigan, they're not going to be taken away. Check this out.
Dive right in. Obviously, last football season, during their national championship run, Michigan was in the middle of quite a large controversy. It involved a man named Connor
Stallions,
who was a rogue agent who was stealing signs, sneaking into other people's sidelines. It became this fairy tale fiction story that was happening concurrently alongside one of the most dominant runs a college football team has ever had. You were obviously right in the middle of it. You were the straw that was stirring the entire drink, breaking the news, saying this, saying that. Harbaugh suspended. Did Pete Thamel do the suspension? No. Maybe, though, is kind of what it was. Now we hear about it for the first time since Coach Harbaugh has gone to the NFL. And Sharon Moore, who's the interim head coach, offense coordinator, who just coached his ass off towards the end of the season, also in the Rose Bowl and in the national championship. He's involved. What are we hearing? What do we need to know from this leak? And what's going to happen with Michigan, Pete? And do you feel vindicated? That's a whole other situation.
So what happened was my colleague Dan Murphy and I obtained the notice of allegations draft to Michigan's NCAA case pertaining to Connor Stallions, as our friend Ty would like to say.
No, Ty Pete. Ty Pete.
That's right. Ty Pete. Sorry about that, Ty Pete. Ty, I bet you're kind of giddy today, aren't you? A little bit, right?
A little bit excited. This is back in the news cycle.
Yeah.
Yes, Pete.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we're pumped, Pete. Whenever we quickly put some things together and we learned that you could be back on the show, couldn't make the call fast enough.
Yeah, bingo.
Couldn't make the call fast enough to you, pal. We're very appreciative. But with all this, what did we learn and what are we looking at here?
The notice of allegations draft, seven Michigan coaches, 6 former ones, and then current coach Sharon Moore have been implicated in this by the NCAA and are going to face punishment from the Committee on Infractions unless they negotiate resolution. Sharon Moore is obviously the headline of this, Pat. He's the current coach at Michigan. In the notice draft, they say he's a repeat violator because of violations in the COVID era recruiting sanctions that Michigan got. And he was obviously suspended for the opener last year against East Carolina. So he faces, the draft says, potential suspension and perhaps a show cause order. Now, it is just a level 2 allegation, so I wouldn't expect any huge fireworks on that. But I think one of the more relevant, significant punishments that could come from this is some type of potential punishment for Sharon Moore.
So if Sharon Moore ends up getting punished, suspended, that's Michigan football now. Head coach just gets suspended. You'll be able to move forward. They literally were able to win a national championship while that was taking place last year. One of the most mentally tough runs I think I've ever seen in sports, and should potentially be talked about by what's going on in the locker room. But they do all the plays. All right. I mean, there are certainly things you can argue for the entirety.
They're not going to take away the past accomplishments, but Sharon Moore, it looks like if any suspensions or any fines are going to be handed down, Sharon Moore is going to be the one that's going to be taking the brunt of what happened.
Also wanted to point out when they found out about the Connor Stallions situation, they also found texts that involved Sharon Moore, a lot of deleted texts. I think it was around 40 or so that they ended up getting access to. So he's not completely absolved of this thing either. And like I said, whatever comes down the pipe now, they just got to deal with. That's just, that's the game.
And Pete just said it. He's going to be sitting out games. I don't think Michigan's going to lose anything from the past, but Sharon Moore will be sitting out 3 or 4 games is what I gather from what Pete said.
Yeah.
The two things that I really heard there was repeated violations.
Yes.
And then the second was negotiate a resolution.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to double down on this for you Wolverine fans. You guys do not want this to get to court.
Right.
Because the deleted text messages, that wasn't a conversation during their run last year.
Yeah.
Something that we found out since. And we're going to continue to find out more things the more that people dive into this. And I think when you have a guy like Jim Harbaugh, the power of a Jim Harbaugh, I think, was able to deflect a lot of this. He kind of took it on his back and said, I'll sit out some games.
Yeah.
Let's just get this over with.
Mm-hmm.
This, we've been watching assistant coaches in Ann Arbor fall like flies.
Yeah.
Right? And so now you got Sharon Moore, who's basically the last man standing, who's already been suspended, that has, albeit not high-end allegations, but has multiple of the same again. So I'm curious, at what point do these continued problems with this university start to make recruits not want to come? It hasn't ever happened, really. They've gone down. You see that big block M up in the beginning during that Pat McAfee segment. It's the big M.
Yeah.
We know how much power and clout they have in the recruiting process. But I guess, Joel, I want to ask you this. If this was Tulane, they'd be shut down, right?
Probably.
About all that,
Yeah, no, they probably would be. But I'm not sure. I don't know. Because to KG's point, he keeps saying this is going on all around college, but not to this degree, though, where people
are you sure about that?
Where people are going to different games and sneaking on the other sideline.
Hold on.
Wait, are you sure about that?
Yes, I am, because sign stealing is a legal act. You can steal signs in college football.
That is correct.
You getting it all confused. What Brent Venables would do, you can look across the sideline and see, like, oh, when they put up this sign, this is the play they're running. I'm looking from the booth. That's legal. That's in the realm of a game. But when you going out to actively recruit those signs and going to different things to recruit those signs, that's out of the realm of what's legal in sign stealing.
And that's why I said they took advantage of a loophole, because
I wouldn't say that's a loophole.
Let me ask you this.
Technically, sign stealing, the act itself, is not an illegal act.
It makes sense.
So what about when you petition a head coach of another team to allow access for one of your assistant coaches to steal signs from your rival? Because now you start going past sign stealing into actual conspiracy.
Is this where it comes out?
Wait a second.
Are you mad they got caught at the state game stealing signs? Is that what it is?
This is back in the news because nobody wants to talk about decades of Dr. Bob. But we will talk about this one because it's back, right? And the fact is, the CMU's coach was let go. And that guy has massively deep ties to Jim Harbaugh. So it's one thing if you're in the stands, but to be on another university's sideline means that you were given express access by somebody on that administration. And now you're realizing that person also had massively deep ties to Harbaugh. So is it out of the realm of possibilities to imagine that the University of Michigan has reached out to multiple universities through their connections through multiple different assistant and head coaches to create a conspiracy network of scouting and sign stealing?
God,
I'm telling you, this is why you guys don't want this. Well, listen, it is a conspiracy when more than one person comes together to be able to do something. So I'm going to tell you, I'm tripling down. You don't want this to go to court, Michigan fans.
Yes, and I'll see that and raise. Do you think it's out of the realm of possibility that Michigan was the only team that has ever done this? I'm telling you, yes, if they go to trial.
Only team that ever got caught.
And that is a fact. But you don't want this to go to trial because I promise you it just won't be Michigan. There's going to be a lot of teams in the Big Ten that get found out.
Matt Broder disagrees. And Matt Broder disagrees. And I'm kind of siding here with the great Matt Broder. He says, be happy to take this to court. The NCAA does not want what he is saying in the chat, meaning like to what Kenny's saying.
Exposure.
Kenny, he's basically saying you should be wanting to go to court because the NCAA does not want the fact that sign stealing is legal to come out with all the different ways because it's all going to be exposed and roadmapped right there for the judge and everybody in the media to read, and that's not what the NCAA wants.
True.
I'm trying to get Matt Broder to see if he can come on with. Oh, he says he cannot come on with us. But I was trying to see.
Yeah.
But I agree with what Mr. Broder's saying. I think you do want to go to court because Michigan wins because the NCAA won't be able to play.
But the longer this goes, that's more of a distraction. I'm looking from the standpoint of, okay, it happened. It's in the past. The NCAA cannot do anything drastic to you at this point, no matter what they have.
Right. They can only suspend the coach. That's
exactly.
Haven't they already had
Why
Big Ten
continue this
taken away?
manhunt?
Right.
Jim Harbaugh's gone.
Right.
Why continue this manhunt?
How many Big Ten championships has Michigan had taken away?
Oh my God, Anson.
It's happened before, no?
Anson, I promise you, Michigan has not been on the team. Go ahead, Joe.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say they probably still investigating it because Sharon Moore was his right-hand man. So I would imagine Jim Harbaugh didn't want his hands directly tied to it. So he probably had Sharon Moore dealing with these situations. So now they saying, okay, this is the team's head coach. So now they all right, we're going to investigate him. Because like you said, you already spoke on it.
But if it was
deleted text, he's definitely involved some way, somehow. So.
But if it was to the point where Anson is speaking of a whole network of people in a conspiracy, then they would have much more to go against Michigan with. And then they would have the right to maybe strip a natty and things of that nature.
And I think that's why it's happened. It's come back into the news. Because when you look at this guy and he's on CMU's sideline.
I understand that.
He absolutely was given access to a coach that lost his job this week. And to assume or say that it was only Central that gave Connor Stallions access might be a little irresponsible this early in the process.
We don't know, though. We don't.
But that's what I'm saying. And
but I get what you mean.
That's why I think it came back, because if what I'm saying, if there's even a glimmer of truth to it, if we find out that these guys were at another game or that Connor was given access to the sideline through another college, could be big trouble.
It could, but we have to let this process play out. And like I said, there are other teams involved. I can almost guarantee it. So while what Michigan did was wrong, I stand by that as a Michigan fan. Hey, it is what it is. We got the natty. I'm ready to move on.
I'm sure you and all of Michigan fans are ready to move on.
That natty ain't going nowhere, so don't worry about it. That's a moot point. We can forget about that right now.
The worst they can do is a suspension at this point, which is why I don't feel like it's a network or a conspiracy of people.
Hope or feel?
It might be more than one, but at the same time, a network, though, that's a little much. I think.
Let me tell you something.
But wait a second. How did he get that access? Because of a coach with ties to Harbaugh. That's a network. It's a network.
I wouldn't call that a network, man. I wouldn't call that a network. It's not a network. A network involves multiple
and
people.
Some free backstage
a
passes?
network involves multiple Connor Stallions, not just one.
It involves multiple people. Harbaugh, the coach that just got fired, and Connor Stallions.
Yeah, but it would have to be a network of people actually doing the sign stealing. That's what I'm saying. That's
No. It's a network of access. Okay. And if once
he was employed, he was on the staff.
Stallions.
Yes, there were multiple people involved, but I mean, to say it was a network of people, that would mean there was more than one Connor Stallion. And to this point, we've only had one Connor Stallion.
I'm sure that there was more than just Connor Stallions breaking down his reports, okay?
Yeah.
But you got one guy who's already had a Netflix documentary made about him because he's guilty, thrown under the bus, just like Tim Donahue was, without any real discovery or discussion of what was actually going on. Yeah. This guy got access to the Chippewas sideline via a coach with deep ties to Harbaugh.
Understand that.
If that does not define a network, I don't know what does, my friend.
What do you feel, Pete? Do you feel it's a network?
What it is that Michigan got caught doing something that is an unwritten rule in the NCAA. If you want to call it a network, call it a network. I don't care what you call it, but he didn't do anything wrong. If he's on the CM, okay, what Anson is saying is that Connor Stallions did something wrong. Is that what you're saying, about being on the CMU sideline?
I'm taking it. We know Connor Stallions did something wrong. There's a documentary. What I'm talking about is, was there communication between Michigan and the CMU coaching staff to allow Connor Stallions onto the sideline? And if you have that, you might have a problem. Well, now, if you find that with other schools, you have a true conspiracy to defraud your opponent.
I don't think you have a problem, because what these coaches are doing is that they're going to network and they're going to steal. Yeah, they are. They're going to steal signs to other teams. If you don't think that Ohio State's calling Penn State to see, what defense is Michigan playing? How do they play this route?
But are they giving Penn State
this is not
access to their sideline while they play Michigan?
We don't know.
This is not a fairy tale world that we live in. This is cutthroat. Now money's involved, and if you're gonna cheat, do it right. They did it wrong. They got caught.
They got caught because Connor Stallions is an idiot.
But I don't think he's doing anything wrong by being on the CMU sideline.
Are you a Michigan fan?
Trying to find out what he can
prefer
find
Michigan
He went to Bowling Green. Don't do that to him.
Do you prefer Michigan over State?
Do I prefer Michigan over
That's
State?
not valid.
That's
don't answer that.
Valid.
That is not valid.
So valid.
You ain't got to answer that, Pete. You ain't got to answer that, Pete.
That's not the argument. Did Connor Stallions do something wrong by being on the CMU sideline? Is your questions? I say no. He's networking and trying to get as much info as he can.
But, I got to say, I think that there's way too early in this process, like I felt last year, to just say this is all that it was. Because now here we are circling back, and it was clearly more. So all I'm hearing from Michigan fan and Michigan supporters is that's all that it was. And yet everybody else in the nation's excited for this story to come back up, because none of us, and I'm going to go to you, Joel, did you feel that this is all there was, that it was over?
Another Sparty, by the way.
What you mean, like, over?
Well, I mean, here it is. It's coming back. And these guys, I want to say that's all it was just sign stealing. It's just one guy being stupid. It feels like so much more for it to be coming back again.
Well, no, I was going to say, when I was reading, the initial reports, they were saying, they were buying tickets for him to certain games.
Yeah, he was on the staff.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, this probably is more to it. It's not like he's just a random dude who just, snuck in and then, I can't even think of the movie, but, he just snuck in and then funneled me in some information hey, this is the tip to beat. Nah, he was really hired in. He was really a part of it.
Well, he was hired on the staff. We know this at this point, though. He was hired on the staff, and we can say he was a lone wolf and stuff like that. Fine, but I'm just saying that it's
like I said it on Friday though, when it's from South Park. What you call it? When you cheat and you lose, then you're just a cheater. But if you cheat and you win, then you're savvy. So
you're champions.
Yeah, I guess.
Just saying.
I guess that's what y'all claiming right now. Y'all just claiming y'all savvy.
KG, you keep saying the word guarantee. I got one guarantee for you.
Okay.
I will not be reading the chat.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I've been reading the chat the whole time.
I can only imagine
you should.
How much hate from Michigan fan is coming towards me right
Kiss
now.
The rings.
I can only imagine. That is not something that I'll be looking at today. But we do appreciate you in the chat. We'd love to see some more likes. We'd love to hear what your opinion is. Do you think that this is all that it is? Do you think that it's over? Or do you think that this is just the tip of the iceberg and that there's a lot more to come?
All I'm saying, they ain't name anybody else. So a network has to be more than one Connor Stallions, Anson. Just saying.
It's not starting.
Okay, we gonna see.
Don't make me explain network again.
We gonna see
more than just Mr.
And if it go to trial, the NCAA as a whole is in trouble.
And they're part of that network too.
But again, I'm going to fall on the network side. I think all these coaches are in cahoots and they call each other and they try to figure out who's doing what.
Some more than others,
Some more than others,
100%.
but just do it correctly and don't get caught, you frickin'
Connor Stallions got
willies.
caught. It is what it is.
No doubt about it. Well,
All right.
I think it's time for a break
Yeah,
here. We're
boy.
hitting up in the middle hour. Appreciate you guys all tuning in for the KG and Anson show.
I know, right?
And we got a couple
What about
of
Pete and
words
Joel?
from our wonderful sponsors here, and don't leave because we got another hour to come.
That is correct. Let us go and talk right now about Dr. Pierce. Attention, sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff S. Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during our show, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Why wouldn't you do that? Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Gentlemen, who has Premier Pet, my friend?
Premier Pet, I believe that's Anson.
Hey.
I sure hope so because you know I love my pets.
You do.
Give your pet the best like I always give mine, all right? Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. I'm in there all the time. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one huge difference. Family and locally owned and operated for over 30 years.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
It should, and it does make me feel a lot better. That's why I'm there. Over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Got same-day, local curbside, and home delivery they provide. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Check them out at www.premierpetsupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
These crispy chicken and pizza, a.k.a. Honey Biscuits and Magic, is taking over Michigan. Known for their quality hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tenders, sandwiches, and New York-style pizza, and Honey Biscuits. Locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit, doubling the number of restaurants this year, in fact. Soroki's just had their grand opening at their new location in Madison Heights as well, so if you're in the area, go and see them. Be sure to stop in as well and try a mega station near you, or just go to www.soroki.com. Soroka.
Oh, just had Soroki's last Friday. It was great. But after you go get you some Soroki's, how about you go get a haircut at Lady Jane's? And shout out to the Lady Jane's girls, the beautiful Lady Jane's girls, always working hard over there. But awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome.
All right, well, we are back here with the Anson and KG show, aka the Ermanni and Edwards show, on a beautiful, slightly rainy Monday here in Detroit. Got some wild stuff going on in New York with the Giants and the Lions practice that they're doing together.
Is it a practice or a boxing match? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Full-on skirmish, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So, where do you want to go with the Lions right now? I know we got a little more on Dan Campbell. He had a couple more things to say, and I know that you guys at home want to hear more about these Lions right now. What do you got, Joel?
I got a question that a couple of people have been saying in the chat, or I don't know if it was just one person or a couple, but are you concerned with the clips of seeing like Terrion Arnold get cooked, or is it just something that you think is going to just happen with him being early in his rookie season?
First of all, it's training camp, so I'm definitely not worried about it from that aspect.
Yeah, I'm on that side.
Secondly, he's not going to make every single play, y'all. Now, this play just happens to be video documented, but it is what it is. At least let the kid get actual NFL reps before we start jumping to conclusions. That's all I would.
It's what you call it. Just goes to the world we live in now. It's a microwave society, man. People
instant gratification.
People expect everything to be like they probably expect him to be like Darrell Revis or Sauce
Gardner
like year one. Like it's not gonna be like that, or it could be like that, and we would be blessed. But I don't mind to see like these growing pains happening early right now.
Big facts.
Yeah, I mean, every corner gets cooked at some point, and we're talking about Malik Neighbors.
Exactly.
This is Malik Neighbors. If you don't know, you will soon enough. They got one guy in New York. They got rid of Saquon. They brought in Malik. You got to have one playmaker, right?
Right.
So
you would hope.
Yeah, I did see Dan Campbell got called out on Pat McAfee. We were there once earlier.
I got that.
But he absolutely took his hat and tipped it towards our guy, Dan Campbell, for systematically and, well, not single-handedly, but this man has turned this franchise.
Absolutely.
Would you like to hear that?
I would love to hear that.
A lot of people think he's big dumb dipshit. That is not the case at all.
Nope.
If you look at what he's been able to do to the Detroit Lions, and obviously it's alongside Brad, and it's alongside a lot of great coordinators and great players, but there's one man that is setting the tone for the Detroit Lions since he got the job. It was a man who said, hey, we're going to embrace Detroit. We're going to be about Detroit. We're going to be tough. We're going to be gritty, and we're going to draft the right guys. Now, all these draft picks come after the season that took place, before the first season happened. Remember, his pillar player, Penei Sewell and St. Brown. Both of them brand new deals, still on the squad. They were the people they wanted to build and set the team's culture around, and they certainly did that. In a matter of 3 years, they're now the favorites of the NFC North. They're now one of the favorites to be in the Super Bowl, where for 150 years the Detroit Lions were laughed at pretty much? Yep. This dude needs to get a little bit more credit for how he is as a coach, for how he's been able to turn around a program, turn around a building, and how he's been able to remain himself whenever he's doing these press conferences. Now, obviously, Detroit's not a big market, and they are the Detroit Lions.
Of course.
And the way he delivers his messaging publicly is one that a lot of people cannot take serious, potentially, if he didn't want to. But he's a great coach.
Yeah.
And he's built his team on everything that you need to win. They're fully bought in. They're fully committed. That's why whenever you hear the Lions are going to be in joint practices, you know 10,000% that there's going to be an us versus them bunker mentality, because that's what MCDC has literally built his entire team on. So there's going to be brawls. Some of these fights this morning coming out of...
There was so much talk about the Detroit Lions hiring process.
Yeah.
When they went out and got Dan Campbell, when they went and got Brad, we know that Chris Spielman and Sheila got together, and it really felt like there was too many chefs in the kitchen. There was too many people in the decision-making process. And then we get this guy, and his first clip is talking about eating kneecaps. And as exciting as it was to have a former player be a coach and all of the former player assistant coaches that the Lions hired, there was a large portion of the Detroit Lion fan base that said this just felt and reeked of all the old bad hires.
Yeah.
It's not what it turned out to be.
And I almost don't like that Pat McAfee brought this up, because I feel like at this point, if you can't tell that Dan Campbell is more than the surface brings, I don't know what to tell you. And you're just not watching Lions football. I said this last week on the morning show. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, that Dan Campbell press conference is going down as one of the best introductory press conferences, maybe the best one of all time, because
it's a prophecy.
The guy, yes, he was talking to the fan base, and I know a lot of people on the outside media didn't understand it, but just me, myself, as a fan of over 30 plus years, I watched that press conference and I actually appreciated it. Now, at the time, did I know if Dan Campbell was going to be the right man for the job? Of course I didn't. But the fact that he came in and he didn't, do any coach speak, he didn't give you any frills. He said, hey, it's going to be a struggle, but I'm going to build this team off being gritty. I'm going to build this team that every day we're going to come out and punch you in the mouth. And I respected that about him. Now, to his point, he's done everything that he said he was going to do from that introductory press conference.
Sure has.
You look at the Lions team we have, they are tough. They are gritty. They go out every week and give you their best game. Even if they lose, the Lions are going to play you hella hard. Like, this is everything that he said he was going to do. Pause. This is everything he said he was going to deliver to this franchise. So the fact that people can still consider him a meathead just off of his appearance and how he talks, that's dumb to me. And I'm over that line of thinking. Like, he's not a meathead. He's not a wrestler. Like, it's more than meets the eye with Dan Campbell. And if you took the time to actually watch the Lions, you would see that.
In hindsight, it was Detroit speak.
Yeah, exactly.
He was speaking to the people of Detroit because he played for the people of Detroit.
Exactly.
He understands this fan base. And when I heard it, I was like, that's what I want.
Yes.
But it also was a little scary because it was pretty off the cuff. But as we look back, it's a very prophetic opening statement for a brand new coach, because he has delivered on all those things as you spoke to. So for me, and real quick, we do want to apologize to everybody on Fox too. Pat McAfee, that's who he is. But
yeah,
listen, this guy has brought a brand of football that we as Detroiters and Detroit Lions fans felt we deserved our entire lives.
Absolutely.
And now he's backed it up with not only a core of players that have this value and this toughness, but just an entire mantra that's brought this culture to a team that was so desperately in need of it.
And if you got to go by wins, 3-13-1, 9-8, 12-5 with an NFC Championship appearance.
It's better, baby.
And that's
just
Anson, we've seen this before. Now, I got to be careful about the apples to oranges thing here, but when the Pistons played bad boy basketball, what happened? Fights, anger, everybody was pushing and shoving because the Pistons were gritty. What happened when the Pistons and Larry Brown's played it the right way and the defense started shutting teams down? They got frustrated. They started pushing. They started shoving. They started fights on the court. My whole point is,
stands.
And in the stands. Thank you very much. So my whole point is that we've seen this show before. Now, Kenny G and Joel and Justin, they're a little bit younger, obviously. They weren't here in the 80s when it all went down. But I'm saying we've seen this before, this type of play, Anson and I. So you want to see more of these fights. I said this earlier at the camp, but Dan Campbell wasn't just talking in that introductory press conference to the fans. He was talking to that curse.
Yeah.
That, the whole curse and everything. He was talking to the Lions aura. He wasn't just the fans. It was the Lions. He literally was just like, if you... Excuse me for getting religious here. Jesus said to the devil, "Get out of the person." That's literally what Dan Campbell said at that introductory press conference. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We don't need your curse. So keep seeing the fights is what is my whole point. Joel, what were you gonna say?
So then I was gonna say in that as y'all speak on how the statement that he said about getting hit down, getting back up, and punch you in the kneecap or biting the kneecap. That is a prophetic statement because, like you said, to our record, we 3-13, but we were losing close games.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't a 3-13 team that was like. Granted, we were getting blown out some games.
Yeah.
But we weren't just getting.
We just didn't have the talent.
Yeah, we weren't just getting the floor mopped with us. Then the next year, we started off terribly, looking like it's about to be another season like that. But then we still fought back, even dealing with injuries, dealing with everything. Yep. Then the next season, we still we expand and just grow into like this team that just like. We've never seen before in our lives as Detroit fans, like, call it how you want. Like, we've never seen a team like that. But what really got me with Dan Campbell is when he was on Hard Knocks crying. And what I always think about with that, when I remember that clip is people don't care what you know until you show them how much you care.
Yeah.
So the fact that he showed that team, like he was willing, like year one, to just cry right in front of them, like man, like I really want this. Like this is how bad I want. I'm showing y'all. Like it just really like you had no other option but to get in line and just run through a wall for him and with him because he's running through the wall with the team too.
Yeah, and to add a little bit to your point, Pete.
Yeah, bro.
When you looked at those bad boys teams and the going to work teams, because they were so good at what they did, they made other teams try and play that same brand of basketball.
Right.
Yeah. And I think what you're going to see with teams now with a smash mouth defense that's going to mirror the offense and how good they are.
Yeah.
I think this is a top 8 defense. And I was going to say top 12. That's what I was saying earlier. More and more that I'm reading and looking into this team could absolutely be a top 8 defense because the offense isn't giving the ball back till they score.
That's fact.
So if you see the other teams try and match the way that we play, they're going to be in trouble because there's very few teams built to play the way that this Lions team plays.
God bless you.
And if they are a top 8 defense, like you say, then that's a guaranteed Super Bowl because they got to the NFC Championship game with the worst secondary in football. So I would pray, man, if they're a top 8 defense, then this team is absolutely going to the Super Bowl. And I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I even at top 12 with how good this offense is,
the
amount of weapons, the offensive line, a top 12 defense is going to get you there because they nearly pretty much got there. They really pretty much did get there.
Yeah.
And they were what, 25, 26 or something last year?
Mm-hmm.
So with the improved secondary, with the belief that these guys, we are seeing them carrying into this offseason, but truly everyone in Allen Park, everyone in Honolulu Blue, whether it's them on the field or it's us at home, the belief is real.
Yeah, this is why complacency doesn't even register in my mind. I think I said that on Big D Energy. There is no way in hell Dan Campbell would let these guys do that. And there's no way that these players would allow themselves to do that. Dan Campbell's taking the approach at the podium like, hey, I'm letting these guys govern themselves because they know how much this means to them. They know how much it means to this city and to this organization. They're going to go out and do it. If they rest on their laurels, they don't deserve to be there. Just point blank, period. So I definitely don't see them living off of last year or anything of that nature. I know they've been getting that question a lot, but there's no freaking way, man.
Dan Campbell is not a last year kind of guy. He's not like, let's look. He doesn't care what the heck happened yesterday. This is a today guy. This is a future guy. He doesn't give a flying hoot about what just happened 2 minutes ago. This guy is going to have a brand new slate. He says every job, guys, is up for grabs. This guy knows how to coach, and he's going to get everybody. And to Anson, real quick to your point, because you're the man. You just said it. The Pistons wanted you to play their game. How does a lion hunt? A lion hunts in packs, and a lion, when they hunt in packs, they have one as a decoy and one as the true hunter. And what the Lions are doing is they're trying to get you to think that they're playing your route, but you're playing their defensive pattern. And I like the way they're coaching this up. They're literally treating the opposing offenses like a pack of, well, they're the pack of lions, and they're treating them like gazelles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this gazelle, okay, we're going to have Terry and Arnold over here, but really, I know that you're going to be, throwing over to Rakestraw. We're going to have Branch back there. We'll double team them. They know what's going on. He knows. You were correct.
To your point, right back at you, AG's going to have a lot more options to be able to pull out.
Yeah.
And we're going to see some things from the defense that they couldn't try before, that they're going to have an opportunity to do. But again, even more to your point, this whole city and the Lions of the past would have been super excited over that division champion.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No one cares about that division championship. Nobody on that team is excited about hanging a division banner.
Mm-hmm.
They're not excited to hang an NFC championship banner.
Yeah.
There's one thing on this team's mind, and it really, as much as they spoke to it when they first got here, a lot of us were like, okay, well, we'll see if you can at least win a playoff game.
Right.
But seeing the product that we got last year, the product that we're seeing this offseason, the steady Eddie, careful moves while still taking care of your best players and setting the market, this isn't just a one-year thing. This isn't just a couple-year thing. This is a culture now that we have in Honolulu Blue. And this is an expectation-laden city right now that will only be satisfied with one thing, and that is a big diamond-filled ring.
And a parade down Woodward, baby.
Hand.
I cannot wait for that parade,
that
man.
parade.
Stop it.
Man,
I don't expect to see me here. Woodward Sports Yard, the day that happens, I'm not coming in. So I just want to put
we're broadcasting from there.
Oh, no, you'll be there. We'll force you to be there whether you're coherent or not. We'll just put you in
we'll be down there. That's for sure.
Y'all won't be that day.
Like weekend at Bernie's.
What you got for me, Joel?
You know, I was going to say, though, if Dan Campbell, to a Peace point that he said earlier, if Dan Campbell was a last year type of guy, when we went 9-8, the next season we wouldn't have went 12-5. I wholeheartedly believe that. Like,
Thank you.
We would have rested on our laurels. We would have probably been like, oh, look at the win streak we had last year. Like, oh yeah, we about to make playoffs. We about to do this. We about to do that. He like, nah, like last year doesn't matter. We have to go out and prove it again. It's just like that's the week by week mindset that you're supposed to have. So it's just like Dan Campbell, he's not gonna, like you said already, 2KG. He's not gonna let this team be complacent. So it's just like I'm just more so excited to see what this team look like. I know the record might not. I've already said this plenty of times. I know the record probably won't increase or improve, but the quality of play will. I wholeheartedly believe that quality of play will, like 100%.
BNL.
Hey.
Oh, look at Anson.
You didn't see me say it.
What's your call? I have an analogy for that.
I've
been telling my granddad for years because he's like one of the ultimate Lions haters, and I was able to flip
They'll break
him.
your heart, son.
Yeah, I was like, granddad, if you have a boat, and over time, say the boat was assembled with 50-some pieces, and over time, like month by month, week by week, you take a different piece off and you replace it with a different piece.
Little by little,
Over
a little
time,
becomes
you
a
have
lot.
a new boat. So I'm like, this is a new boat. I'm like, this is a completely new team. We've slowly but surely replaced all the bad apples. We've got it. We weeded out. Like, this is a whole new team. Like, we're ready. Like, this is the 2020 Lions. Like the 2020s, like
the decade.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
20s this is an era of Lions football.
Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
No doubt about it. You know, I'd love to talk a little baseball at some point today.
I'd love to, too. Sure. Let's get into it.
We just had a team hit 20 straight losses.
I know, the White Sox.
They are in our division.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's, you know, this is something that as Pistons fans, we just dealt with. Got a pretty awesome chart up there. Now, if you were a betting man, KG,
yeah,
and you would put $100 on them against them and rolled your profit over during this loss, you'd be a $500,000.
Really?
Wow.
I was missing the boat, man.
I forgot.
That's easy money, too.
Baseball lines don't, what you call it? They don't vary that much. Like, the most you'll find like a money line that is like minus 250. So, yeah, you could have.
Sheesh, man.
Yeah, you could have been rolling.
For 10 years during the Millen era, I bet $20 against the Lions every week because every week I won.
Yeah.
Either the Lions won or I had $20 in my pocket.
Yeah. Well, I need a couple dollars, so if you want to chip in, I know you're still living
ago.
good off of the
I don't
Miller
bet
era.
against them anymore, man. They just win. Honestly, I did bet against them a couple times last year in games I was really worried about.
Yeah.
I didn't win much money last year.
I mean, but for the White Sox, though, 20 straight losses in the MLB. I mean, even the Tigers, if they go on the skid, you expect them to win 1 or 2 during the skid. Like, that's 20 games is tough.
Well, I feel bad for the White Sox, too, because Chris Getz, the GM, is from Grosse Pointe, which is where I'm from, and also he's good friends with Ryan Ermanni.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, all of us in Grosse Pointe want Chris to do well. Obviously, not beat the Tigers, but do well. So it kind of sucks that they're going through that. You know.
Yeah, I saw they call it they said they're getting close to being the Wingstop Pistons. We're literally called the Wingstop Pistons because remember when they were saying like if the Pistons win, you get free Wingstop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, they said the White Sox about to be the Wingstop Pistons.
So when is the next time the Tigers head to Chicago? Because if you've seen photos of their stadium, there's only about 100 seats taken. You can buy some bleacher seats and sit anywhere you want. Which I'm not telling you to go spend your money in the city of Chicago,
August
but
23rd through the 26th.
But can you repeat that again, Pete?
August 23rd through the 26th.
Not a bad road trip for you Tigers fans that can't afford the good seats. You certainly can move anywhere you want over there. It's not, what is it? What do they call it? Cellular One Stadium?
Yeah,
or something?
Cellular. Yeah.
Yeah.
U.S. Cellular Stadium.
U.S. Cellular. Cellular One's not
I thought it was
Been around
different
for a while.
now. I thought they named
Oh,
it
no,
something
no,
else.
they rechanged. I think they did change it.
Yeah.
I gotta find it.
I always knew it as U.S. Cellular. That's why I
track
know.
of
Was
all
that the
these
former
sponsorships,
Comiskey?
man.
Is that Comiskey
What?
that they just renamed?
Yeah, the Comiskey Park. Yeah.
I know that
The
they
new
just
Comiskey.
They not moving out of that park. It's guaranteed rate field. Guaranteed rate.
That's right.
Well, they just came out with actually a
Keep
list of the top 90 stadiums in the big three sports. They ranked the worst ones and
Yeah.
the top ones. I think that's something that we'll go through a little bit later on in the week, but it's pretty intriguing where some of the Detroit stadiums land.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that.
What's your
because
favorite stadium here in Detroit?
Ford Field, man.
Yeah.
There is nothing like being at a Lions game and they're winning. Oh
Hey.
my God, the energy in that place is unreal. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Comerica Park. I love a summer night. Good shandy. Watching the Tigers. But I gotta pick Ford Field, man. And LCA, they just haven't had enough of those type of memories like the Palace had. So,
Do you have throughout your lifetime a favorite stadium that's not either of those?
I mean, Ford Field's been around as long as pretty much I've been alive. I mean, not right away, but I never got a chance to experience the Superdome. Joe Louis, while a historic arena, was very uncomfortable.
Joe Louis was interesting.
It was very uncomfortable.
Beautiful hole in the wall.
See a game at that place, but definitely I would say probably the Palace, man. That was my first Pistons game, and even though we sucked at the time, it was an aura in the Palace.
Well,
there was an aura in the Joe.
I was just going to say,
No,
Justin joined us here.
It was just an uncomfortable watch. That's all. Once you're actually in the seat.
I don't know about that. I thought it was very enjoyable. I loved the Joe. That's where my most fond hockey memories are. I went to a playoff game every year that I was alive in the streak years. So it's just, there's just something about LCA. It's definitely the moments. It's the memories. They're just not there yet. The teams haven't been remotely good since they moved there.
Yeah.
So it definitely plays a factor. And I know what list you're referring to. It's actually a Yelp rating list.
TripAdvisor, and Google, all three.
Yep. And Little Caesars Arena is on the bottom end of that. And
As it should be, because you got no Pistons pictures anywhere.
It's crazy.
I'm going to say something about the LCA when you guys are done.
Who are they going to
put
up? Keep going, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, just the Joe... The way that every seat, it might have been uncomfortable. They might be a little close together, but the seats were strategically placed, so there wasn't really a bad place to see the game.
True.
And you were never far from the action either, even if you were in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
And that's just something that the newer stadium, the LCA, doesn't have. And that's just, I love the Joe so much. It deserves its rightful place among some of the great venues of all time.
I love it.
Okay,
And
I want to
you
be
are the
careful
hockey
here.
guy, so
I want to
get
be careful here because Anson, you and I, and actually everybody here in this room. Well, actually, I don't know if the interns know, but Kenny and Anson, we know a few NBA players that may or may not grace the doorways of Woodward Sports, and I was talking to one about the LCA, and this gentleman. He says that the LCA and the Pistons does not mesh.
Yeah.
That is not a basketball court. I mean, that is not a place to play basketball, basically, is what this highly educated former Pistons player said to me in a conversation, just one-on-one. We were just, relaxing after a show.
Off the record, it sounds like.
Right.
I just don't want to mention his name just because I don't know if he wanted this out there. I'm just saying a Pistons player that we all may or may not know. He didn't seem to like the aura of the LCA. He goes, that's a hockey arena. That's not a Pistons arena. And he seems to have it. He basically said to me in so many words, he doesn't think the Pistons will win as long as they're at the LCA.
Ooh, that's tough, man.
Bobby Lane.
Well, listen, you're talking about taking a team away from the suburbs so that it can be a more Detroit team for Detroit people.
Which I liked.
And then you build a stadium for suburban people.
Right.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
So it's like, I don't get it, man.
No, it's a shame what they've done to the Pistons at LCA, and I'm glad that you've said this on multiple occasions. I've also shared this sentiment. The Pistons were a afterthought when they built LCA. It was kind of like oh crap, we got to put the Pistons in
we're
here.
gonna put the middle. We're gonna let the middle school play here too.
Yeah, like it's crazy, and like you said, the amount of Pistons stuff that's actually in LCA to where the general populace can really take in, it's minimal. It's very minimal for a franchise that is one of the better franchises in our city.
One of the best franchises in NBA history.
Exactly. Besides the Red Wings' dominance, we have the Pistons. They are our other known championship product in this city. And the fact that LCA, which is a beautiful stadium, by the way, I feel like once winning starts to happen at LCA, it will become a much more memorable place. But as of right now, it's a shell, man. And then you only show love to one side of the fandom, and it's crazy.
There's a reason they do that.
Yeah.
It's because the Red Wings own that rink, and the Pistons are just tenants there.
No, Justin, you're absolutely right. My whole point is that
shout out Chase.
Yeah, no, and my whole point is what I was saying is that what really scared me in this conversation I was having with this gentleman is that he said the Pistons will never win as long as they're at the LCA. Think about that statement.
I hope not.
You know how many times I've seen the Pistons play there? Including the last time?
How many times?
I knew it.
Goose egg.
Zero. How many Pistons games you seen there?
I've been to quite a few, which I've always sat in the 100 levels. I know the upper levels are kind of, steep and uncomfortable. They're built more for hockey.
You got a network.
So, I wouldn't say all that. I wouldn't say all that. I'm well connected. I got people in places.
You're well connected.
I got people in places.
Network.
No. But
Kenny has some cool looking sunglasses. Let me tell you.
But listen, but I've been to multiple games at LCA, and I can tell you that if the fans get behind the team, like example last year, we went to DMAC night for the Red Wings. The Red Wings were on a heater. It looked like they were going to be good going into the playoff hunt. The crowd there was absolutely amazing. And then they ended up having a come from behind victory in the last period of the game. And you could just see like LCA just lit up, man, how loud it was, how the people were engaged. If the Pistons can put a winning product on the floor, I have no doubt that Pistons fans will show up and show out for the Pistons. They always do, no matter, what the place. But it's just the fact that you aren't really honoring the Pistons' legacy. If you're going to have them in the building, show them some love.
Right.
I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
It's not their home.
Yeah.
It's their home, but it's not their home.
And to Justin's point, yes, this is a Illich operation, but if you're going to have the Pistons there, at least do them some kind of justice.
It's like their condo. It's like renting an apartment. It's like their condo, and they just happen to put their pictures of their family on the wall.
They're in the perfect spot for that too, downtown, in a spot that's just a whole bunch of new
yes
and stuff. So that's a perfect analogy for that.
Joel, what's your favorite stadium?
I was gonna say actually one of my favorites, if you want to go by aura, is Joe Louis. But I've never seen I've never seen a hockey game there.
At Joe Louis?
Yeah. I went there for WWE events.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those were nice too.
I saw Over the Limit pay-per-view, and then I saw Monday Night Raw like a couple times.
Nice.
But I saw Over the Limit, John Cena threw Batista through a car.
Yeah, I remember that.
And where we were sitting, like it was right there. Like, so that was like one of my and it was funny because I told my mom to buy the tickets for me, but it was to go on my dad's birthday, so I said it was a birthday present for my dad.
That was Rage Against the Machine at Cobo or at Joe Louis.
Oh yeah, concerts are the place
were
to
good.
see. Yeah, but real quick, I don't want to get off into this wrestling thing. Just real quick, to Joel's point.
I'm on the wrestling.
Also, the Joe Louis Arena was the scene where Stone Cold drove the Zamboni into the ring with the Kurt Angle thing. So
yes, sir.
I'm just saying that the Joe Louis Arena is
not
only a place to see, was a place to see venues like Anson was saying with concerts and all that stuff. It just seemed that like when the wrestling industry came to the Joe, that something special always happened at the Joe. And I think that other concerts, wrestling, whatever, I think that a lot of people liked performing at the Joe.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Well, my favorite's gone. That's Tiger Stadium, and I'll stick with it. Tiger
I'd
rather walk on. I'd rather just sit at the pitcher mound of Tiger Stadium than sit at Comerica Park, LCA, or anywhere else.
People swear by Tiger Stadium, and as a kid, I drove by Tiger Stadium a lot. Man. Never got a chance to see a game inside of Tiger Stadium, but I always hear about the view was horrible. It was horrible. Depending on where you sat at, like the view was absolutely horrible. But if anybody can give me, some memories of Tiger Stadium, it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, it would be peanuts
I was there in
and urine. That
peanuts
smell
and urine.
pervaded the entire building, and I miss it. I miss that smell. I miss just, what was it? It's Trumbull, all the little shops and party stores.
Michigan and Trumbull, Cochran.
Actually on Trumbull, it was the couple little spots right there. There was something so old school about that stadium.
Mhm.
And
In
you're getting up
Corktown.
there. These guys will know it soon. When you start getting older, it's all nostalgia.
Yeah, it
It
is.
could have been way worse, but it was so much better in your mind.
Of course.
But I'm gonna agree with you on this one. As much as I loved the Silverdome, I was a ball boy at the 63,000 person game between the Celtics and the Pistons, which was the largest basketball game at that point, or most attended at that point for a
I forgot
long
the
time.
Pistons used to play there. Yeah.
And I loved it there. I loved Tiger Stadium. I was there in 04, Game 5 when they clinched. I got the Tiger turf at my mom's house still growing. But hands down, it was the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
It was the Palace Grill. Because if you know, and you were there, when the Pistons were winning, there was nothing hotter than the Palace Grill.
Yeah.
But the other thing was it was such a big social event when the Pistons were good.
Yes,
The
you dressed
04,
up. You
I mean,
dressed up.
Everybody was dressed up. The high boots and the suits and the bow ties and the hats, the fedoras. Everybody was ready. And the thing was, is as much as they wanted to drive it down, the Pistons franchise that is down to Detroit and make it more of a Detroit thing, Detroit came to Auburn Hills.
They did.
You know, and that whole Oakland County support system that they had around the Palace came strong all the time. They were at all of those games supporting. I miss just the balance and love in that building.
Yeah.
When the Pistons were great. The fact that when I drive by, that it's completely gone and that there's just a landfill.
It's crazy
standing
they
there,
couldn't do
it
anything
hurts.
with that building. Like,
Should have been a community center. You got
Yeah, they could have did
hundreds
a lot
of
of stuff.
suites. It could be dormitories. You've got kitchens. You got workout facilities. You even have a whole concourse you could have turned into a mall and let them build their own businesses there. You
Yeah.
know? Not like we have too many of those centers around Detroit.
Tell me
We
about
could
it.
Use so many more. But rest in peace, Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yes,
I
sir.
am going to
Super chat.
miss you for the rest of my life.
I have a super chat alert from guess who? Dante151.
Shout out.
Dante for
Dante, the man.
consistent support of the show.
Deep shout
They
out.
shouldn't have moved the Pistons from the Palace. If Tom Gores put in some money into the Palace, then people would have showed up more last season. Also, I've been to Palace once before. They destroyed it, and it was the Adele concert.
You guys want to hate Tom Gores a little bit more?
Please.
Sure.
In 2021, he was part of a huge movement to restrict prisoner phone call, or to push prisoner phone calls and restrict prisoner visitations because there's no money in visitation.
Oh,
and
wow.
they wanted money on the big time phone calls. So
Yeah.
he's tied to a lot of awesome things.
Yeah, I can imagine. Sounds like a rich owner to me. So
Yep. You made your money, pal. It's about time for you to move on.
yeah. Well, at least
Speaking
he's
of moving
trying.
on.
At least he's trying.
Hey, I like the product they're about to put out there this year.
Yeah.
There's some excitement. I think that the Alaskan Assassin, Trajan Langdon, has made some solid moves, and we definitely have put all of the bad contracts and players, for the most part, in our past. Got some good role players, some veterans, and a lot of young talent that we'll see how they pan out.
And it's the Trajan show. It seems that way.
It is.
So
It is. He is in charge. He is in charge. But
what we got, Pete?
Take a quick break here. We got another half hour for you guys, so make sure you throw us some likes. And once again, we're going to tell you about the wonderful sponsors that we have here at Woodward.
That's right. Well, guys, hey, what happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? Tells bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. This technology has been proven to work, and these people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Also, right now more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed.
That's facts.
And Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Who the heck wants to pay extra fees?
Nobody.
That's right. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today. 313-530-1698 or visit SwissINS.com. We shall return.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Yeah, hey, you muted.
I ain't pressed it hard enough. How would you like to play the University of Michigan golf course with Braylon Edwards? It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today and you could round off our foursome at woodwardsports.com or scan the code on the screen. When it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision. Randy Wise Automotive.
And if you're dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, there's only one person that you can call, man. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham. They got your back. Listen, we know it's tough. We know she ain't answering your texts. We know she took the kids, but it's okay. There are options. There are answers. 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen that would normally be on the screen but isn't right now. Or you can call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. And listen, y'all, KDK, they got your back. Don't let her do it to you.
They do got your back. And summertime is golf time here in Michigan, and the Ally Challenge presented by McLaren returns. So coming back August 22nd through the 25th at our very own Warwick Hills here in Michigan. Leave the golf to the pros and do not miss the party at the 17th hole.
Oh, it go down.
$2 birdie beers, concerts, and more. Get your tickets at allychallenge.com. And it is brought to you by the fine folks over at Randy Wise Automotive.
Not those other guys.
So, KG, we talked a little bit about the White Sox.
Yeah.
And their high-level futility, 20-game losing streak. But I want to talk about the Detroit Tigers who have suffered
the Tigers' futility.
Losing streak of their own. I said winning streak. I apologize. It's a losing streak. Tigers have lost some games.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people here in Detroit that were upset.
Yeah.
They were talking about selling Flaherty, very upset over trading Scuba, which we obviously did not. But a lot of people here in Detroit thought that this team should have been buying. I was not one of them.
Yeah.
But at this point, seeing how they've fared since the trade deadline, did the Tigers do the right thing?
Absolutely, they did. And listen, y'all, I'm a Tigers fan as well. And I always say I'm not in the market of telling Detroit fans to be patient. I mean, we've been patient for a long time in a lot of different ways with a lot of different teams. But the Tigers, there was no real chance, even if they did decide to buy and mount up and try to go for the wild card. There's still so many holes, especially in terms of the outfield. They're not the outfield, the infield. In terms of just how deficient they were in the infield, they were never going to make any real progress. They weren't going to win in the playoffs. Sure, they had the pitching to maybe win a wild card series, but after that, you really expected them to make any kind of noise? They weren't going to do that. So they did the best thing, and that was sell. You strengthen your farm system. You look forward towards the future, because if the young guys are really what we think they are and what Scott Harris thinks they are, then you need to start arming up and getting a foundation built for your young talent to actually flourish when they get up to the main roster. So I had no problems with what the Tigers did. Of course, we wanted to see them all try to go for the wild card. It just wasn't realistic.
Jackson Holiday, a name that was mentioned a lot of times if we were to move Scooble, had a nice grand slam.
Yeah.
He is a future star, absolutely. You talked about holes in this lineup in our farm system. Farm System Baseball America just came out with their top 100 prospects, and we had 2 high rises. We got guys littered through the top 100. And, as a prospects guy in fantasy baseball, that has not been the story for the Tigers for a long time. But we got Jackson Jobe, who's moved up to number 5, Kevin McGonigal, an infielder who's moved up to 30. And you talked about a lot of holes in that infield. I'm curious, do you think that there's more holes in the Tigers roster or in the story that they're giving about Connor Stallions? Because there's a lot of holes in that story.
Oh, my God. Here we go. Definitely the Tigers, because, I mean, what are we talking about here? But like I said, you want to be in a position to actually make this team a consistent winner. And Scott Harris, he's doing it the slow way, but I believe to be the right way. You spoke to the farm system. That's something that Al Avila really had trouble, was developing the young talent that he did bring in here. And if you look at what the team, did this year, a lot of the regression was from Al Avila guys. You look at Spencer Torkelson. You look at Parker Meadows, who, seems to be kind of going in the right direction, but when he came back up, he got hurt.
Player.
So yeah, and there were caveats to this season. I don't think that the Tigers thought that the AL Central would be this competitive as much as it has. You didn't expect Spencer Torkelson to be back in AAA and then maybe threatening to not even be called back up in September. Like, there's a lot of things that happened this year that just kept you out of it, and that's okay. They needed to evaluate. They needed to see what they actually have here. Scott Harris, he's a guy that wants to build through the draft, and I know it's the long road, but it may be the appropriate road for where they're trying to get to.
And from what I'm reading and hearing, the trade that we got, the catcher first baseman, Lazaro, catch me up on his name, but from what I'm reading, that was the best prospect that moved teams.
Yeah.
And what he was able to do last year was very tremendous. This season, he struggled a little bit up at a higher level, but the long-term prospects for this prospect, the entirety of the MLB is pretty high on him. So to your point, I believe that Harris really, he wants to be here for a long time. And he's not trying to make this happen overnight and just maybe sniff a little bit of the playoffs. They're trying to build this the same way that the Lions have been building things. And I think that next year you're going to see this team be right around 500, maybe better than 500, fighting for that playoff spot, maybe just miss it. But I do believe that they're on their way, and I believe that the farm system is so strong that you're going to see a really good product at Comerica Park, at least for the second half of this decade.
Yeah, I would hope so. And if they spent just a tad bit of money, I mean, we can maybe, expedite the process. But
I just happen this summer? Because this is the time where now you have a better idea of those holes that you...
To be honest, the money that I want them to spend is in DFAing Javi Baez, because you have a shortstop now in your system that you traded for, who is probably going to be your stopgap shortstop until your McGonicals get up here, or if you decide to actually spend money, whoever will be the starting shortstop in 2026, 2027. But like I said, if you spend a little bit of money to help maybe expedite the process and protect some of your young talent, I feel that they should do that. But the main things that I want them to focus on this offseason is strengthening your farm system more, trying to get players that if they don't help you, you can flip in deals, and also DFAing Javi Baez. And let's just move on to the next chapter of this thing, because you can't continue to let this guy bring the team down.
And we can't continue to be talking about Javi Baez for another 3 years.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, Pete, where would you spend your money if you got a check from Chris and he says, all right, I'm going to let you spend it any way you want on somebody who's going to impact this lineup and get us into a wild card playoff? Where would you spend that money?
Hitting. Because starting pitching, and I've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks since Terry Foster said it 2 weeks ago on BDE here 11-1 on Woodward Sports.
Shout out.
Yep. He said, and he's right. You know, Anson, again, let's go back to the old man theory. We grew up in a time where starting pitchers went 9 strong with shutout innings and complete games. Now you got pitchers being taken out of the games with no hitters in the 6th and the 7th inning. I don't care if it's April. I don't care if it's May. Let them finish the frickin' game. We had the greatest what was the back in chemistry was a pH tape? What was the tape that we used to measure temperature? What was that?
Oh, litmus.
Huh?
Litmus, you mean?
Well, yeah. But
litmus
anyway,
paper.
The greatest litmus. We had the greatest pH paper on our team, and that was Mark Canha. Now, where do you think Mark Canha should be hitting in a lineup?
Not
7
third.
or 8.
Right.
He's
exactly.
hitting 4 or 5, right?
Well, he was hitting 4th, Kenny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not third or fourth.
My whole point is he's a 6th or 7th hitter. He's a 6th or 7th hitter. So if Mark Canha is hitting 4th in your team, and you're 2 hitters away from where you need to be. That's exactly what's going on. But and to Anson's point, what you're saying about loading up on the minor leagues, and also Kenny said this as well. Kenny, you're right, because if they're going to start trading players, you're going to need to stock up. Who do you trade? You trade minor league players.
Exactly.
But you got to have some value for them, so they have to produce. So this is all. We can start blaming Scott Harris. We could start blaming the old Al Avila days. It comes down to one freaking person, and that's Chris Ilitch. Is he going to spend the money? You're not going to win getting Trey Sweeney. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're just not. See, the shortstop of the future? Yeah, great. But shortstops of the future take 4 years to develop. You're going to have to spend money and bring in a free agent. It is... You had your chance with Carlos Correa and you blew it. Now he's on the Twins and you're
now
rival.
fix it.
You fix it.
At least, and that's the thing that we say about Tom Gores. Okay, yeah, he's been a crappy owner for a long time, but at least if he writes a check and makes a mistake, he is willing to correct that mistake by also writing another check. And that's Chris Ilitch's problem, man. To his point, I understand. You have buyer's remorse now with Javi Baez, but now we are in a different period, a different era. Give this GM and this president a chance. Give them a chance, because by all accounts, it seems like Scott Harris is good at talent evaluation. So if we have to wait on the young guys, why not protect them? Why not give them something to look forward to once they actually come up? Because they're not just going to come up and take the league by storm. They're going to have some growing pains. You need to have players in place with experience, some good MLB players that can actually help them along through that process.
My thing is you're going to pay these $75 million to this guy regardless.
Yeah.
You're paying
whether he's on the team or not.
You're on the hook. He is submarining your offense.
Yeah.
The guy cannot get on base. He can't even take pitches from pitcher. He's going to see 2 to 4 pitches every time he comes up. So he's not helping your battery in any sense.
And he's not even defensively that good.
Well, he was, but he's not anymore.
Not anymore.
You know? And so at this point, like you said, you've got to allow this new regime to just have a clean slate.
Give him a chance at least.
You know, and a lot of people last year and even during the trade deadline for the Lions are like, why didn't we spend this money? Why didn't we spend this money? Because they didn't really know what they had until last season was completed. So now you go in with a little bit more of a focused and defined understanding of what you need. I think the Tigers are quickly approaching that situation.
Yeah.
They know that they've got arms. They know that they've got young talent.
You also have Chris Fetter, too.
And they know some of the few guys that are going to be here for a while. They're going to be major blocks for this team. Now is the offseason where you should be willing to spend that money. But before you do it, you have to buck up and take that $75 million off the books.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pay it anyway and start using that money towards somebody else. My problem with Chris is I just don't think that he's willing to spend big on a new guy to come here the same offseason that he's willing to buy out Javi Baez.
Yeah.
And the fact is both of those have to happen now, which is the exact same time. They both have to happen at the same time.
And if that's the case, what does that mean for Terry Skubal? 2 years from now, we got to ante up and we got to pay this man.
No, they owe him $400 million the day that the trade deadline expired. At 4:01 p.m., they owe him $400 million.
Yeah, absolutely. And as much as I love Tarek Skubal, and I don't want this to come off as, I hate Tarek Skubal, or I don't want to see the Tigers succeed, but them not trading Skubal at the deadline may have just handicapped them in a way, because by all accounts, Tarek Skubal is a guy who he's going to go to the open market. You got 2 years of team control on him, but if he's smart, he's going to chase that payday, especially with the type of agent that he has. Now, he's also been a guy that's been very non-committal to Detroit. Whenever you listen to any interviews that have been done, he's a guy that, they ask him about his future. He's just like, I'm just taking it day by day. He doesn't really go out there and state that he loves the Tigers or that he wants to be here for a long time. Now, could that just be his demeanor? Yes. But if you have a guy that is non-committal about being here and you have to pay him $400+ million to an owner that's very, very cheap, I don't see how this ends well. So
we know a guy named Monty that did that already.
Yeah, exactly. So in the offseason, I would just implore the Tigers brass to really give a look into trading Tarek Skubal, or at least seeing what the market could look like for him if he comes off a Cy Young victory.
Could there ever be a higher sell point?
Yes. You missed one high sell point.
We already missed one.
So, yeah, this is your next best bet is the winter. Go ahead.
Can I give you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys want? Okay, I'm going to give you the exact point. This, I think, personally is the exact moment when you will realize this offseason the Tigers are serious about winning, when they re-sign Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
And bring him back.
Well, that would be interesting.
That is when you will know that they are serious about making the playoffs, when they re-sign and bring back Jack Flaherty in the offseason. Then you'll know.
Let's hope it happens.
That would be a coup, because next offseason, you spoke about it, this team is going to be prime for a trade, because they're not going to be looking to buy a bunch of minor leaguers.
Yeah.
They've got a dearth of minor leaguers that other teams are going to want. A lot of those guys won't make it up.
Yep.
You got a couple that'll be up by then. But otherwise, you're sitting pretty if you're around that 500 mark to move some of these young guys to get guys that are going to play now. Because, again, you look at past trades that are involving a great player and a whole host of prospects, you get lucky if you can pull one of those names off.
Yeah.
Was it Cameron Maybin that everybody was crying about moving?
Yeah.
Who we getting? Oh, we got Dontrell Willis and a guy that hit for the Triple Crown.
Dontrell Willis.
Yeah. So that's the way I run my dynasty league in baseball. I find a great prospects and I sell them to somebody who thinks they're sexy.
Yeah.
And I get somebody who's going to play for me immediately. I don't think the Tigers were in that situation this year.
No, they weren't.
I felt that they were too far off. I was kind of surprised at how well they've played thus far. But I think they've exposed themselves at this point. This was not a team in a buying situation.
Yeah.
I think next year we will finally be in that buying situation that we have been waiting for far too long here in Detroit.
Yeah, and the Tigers have given us something to talk about for the first time in a decade. I mean, as ugly as it's been, as crazy as it's been this year, they are actually, I would say, headed in the right direction. Now, is it perfect right now? No. Do they have a lot to address still? Absolutely. But if you continue on the path of just being cheap and not investing in your team, then I feel like it's going to come back and bite whoever the GM / president of baseball operations is. So I just really hope that you give this tenure a chance by spending just a little bit of cash. Not that much. You don't have to have the highest payroll in the MLB, but there is no reason why you shouldn't spend a little more money than what you spent this year, because clearly this year it wasn't enough.
Little Caesars all across the country. I think they're international. Yeah. I know the money's there.
And already not even $5 no more. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Let's talk about the University of Michigan. That's an institution that spends the money. As much as I might hate it as a Spartan, whether it's through Hollywood, whether it's through their recruiting, whether it's hiring the best coach available like they did with Jim Harbaugh, this is a team that can overcome everything, even allegations and conspiracy networks or what have you. This team can overcome so much because they're not afraid to spend money. Now, they got the boosters to be able to do it, but I'm sorry. We've seen it here with the Red Wings. We've seen it here with the Tigers. We know you got plenty of pizza, my friend.
Yes.
Let's spend some money, please.
And in a no salary cap league, what's your excuse?
Exactly.
Bam.
What is
we
your
already
excuse?
saw in the
Ding,
no
ding on that
salary
one.
cap league in the NHL. He had no problem spending the money.
Yeah.
So let's do it in the MLB too, Chris. Please.
Chris.
Please.
Yeah, get him to spend that money, baby.
Hey,
Spend that money.
Ain't my money.
All I'm asking is bring back Flaherty. That's your sign.
Yeah.
You bring back the second, one of the top 10 pitchers in the AL.
Yeah.
Bring him
Be
back.
huge.
Free agent.
Hopefully he
3-year
can
deal.
stay healthy because he was one of the premier
Yeah,
pitchers
he's back
before he
issues.
had some health
He's got
issues.
back issues, yeah.
Anything on tap tonight before we sign off?
You know, I'm sure you could probably catch us up on Team USA, where they're at. I believe they're still undefeated. I haven't heard any crazy news on that
I haven't,
front
man.
yet.
No, Maz has been very tempered in the group chat, so they're doing okay. But yeah, I mean, I just hope that they can continue the run that they've been on. They're going against a lot of stiff competition or teams that are used to playing together, and that chemistry is very helpful, man. So I would hope that they can continue to just rely on their veteran talent and get where they need to go. Should they be relying on 40-year-old LeBron at this point? No, but if it's your best bet, that's what you got to do.
If that guy played every NBA game and every year of his career the way that he's been playing in these Olympics, then yes, Joel, I would allow you to maybe call him the GOAT.
Yeah.
Because he's been playing his butt off. With that chase down, rebound, put back, dunk, and then stopping to pick Steph Curry up off the ground.
Yeah.
I've said it before this even started. I can't stand LeBaby, but I love him in the red, white, and blue. He's a whole different player.
How do you not?
That's right. So
a true American.
There's plenty of Olympics. I know that, what was it? There's some surfing.
Is it?
Some 3-on-3 today.
When does the breakdancing start? I heard the breakdancing coming up. I'm trying to see what that's.
In 4 years from now, flag football is coming to the Olympics. So which NFL players are going to be... Okay, here's a better question. Which former or newly freshly retired NFL players might be playing in that flag football
If you've
game?
seen the 3-on-3, it's going to be nobody because they picked some guys up from the YMCA.
Jimmer for that.
And then they're like, Jimmer, go and take these guys out there.
One of the worst draft busts of all time.
They were playing
baby.
They were playing 3 5'10" Chinese guys and really struggling. They were struggling. I'm like, who picked this squad?
It's bad, man. It's bad. I don't know where they found Jimmer for that at. But he was getting a nice little rub on the sideline, though. He was really going through some groin issues, If you know, you know. But yeah, man.
Well, I know we got the heavyweights coming up
Yes,
back
sir.
here in an hour at 5, so make sure you guys come back for them.
Check it
You'll
out.
be here in the morning with the Woo Crew tomorrow, right?
Yes, all 3 shifts. I'm here,
Fantastic,
man. I can't
fantastic.
get away from this place.
Man, the Iron Man KG. I know there's going to be a lot more interesting Lions stuff coming out in New York, so we'll have that for you guys tomorrow.
Yes, sir. No more injuries, please. Knock
We
on wood.
appreciate you tuning in for the first ever KG and Anson show today. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate you, Joel, my man Justin here in the man's chair, and of course, as always, our producer, Pyro P.
Hey, this was at low key. This was real special for me because you are the very first person I've ever did anything in this capacity with. If you
Draft
go back
show.
to the draft, so
Well, that was the first time I ever was sitting over here doing what I did, and the second time ever, so we got to go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Hey,
I got short arms, man.
Same
I
here.
know.
First time I
that's
shared
right,
the
he was
desk
with
was with
us, too.
Anson as well on the draft show.
Yeah, Anson breaking cherries over here. Pause.
Hey, you doing it?
Big pause.
All right. We'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you, Woodward.